Oh no, this market is absolutely horrendous. Guys, what is going on? My name's Jay and welcome back to the channel. As always, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, drop a comment on the way out. It's really going to help us out. So in the last daily brief, we were covering the total crypto market cap. And I was explaining to everybody I wasn't going to panic unless we fell below that final trend line. And it seems we've crushed below. There's some very direct news that is causing this. But what I did last night was a little bit of risk aversion. I went through and I liquidated some of my more riskier plays. And I thought this was a smart thing to do. I trade a lot on MEXC. The fees are very, very small at best. And yeah, it's very, very easy to jump in and out. So again, I can always jump back in if the market starts to move up. But what I also did was bolstered some of my more stronger plays. I was going in a little bit more into Lunar Classic, as you can imagine. I actually went into some USTC just because of all of the buzz, the news that's going on. I grabbed more XRP, and then I also bolstered my position in Ponky. Unusual, I know, right? This is a meme coin I've been looking at for a while. I've played it since around December last year, 2024, and it's really played off for us here on the channel. And I've just been riding it up, riding it down, riding it up, riding it down, and just working the market as it moves around. But as we have fallen along below this trend line now, guys, what we're going to do is go and look at the negative news, which is really pushing us down at the moment. And the FBI is saying time is running out, you guys. The North Korean hackers are now moving very fast to hide 1.5 billion in stolen crypto. This is going to have a drastic effect on the market just because of the sheer amount of panic it's going to create. Everybody's going to now try to trade around this whole time glass, this hourglass, if you will, and it's not going to play off well. And I think we're going to see a little bit more fear come into the market before we eventually see that ride back upwards. So the Lazarus Group are responsible for this, and they're converting the stolen Ethereum into Bitcoin. They're spreading it across thousands of wallets on multiple blockchains, and soon it will be laundered into cash. The FBI have dropped a list of flagged Ethereum addresses and is urging exchanges, DeFi platforms, and blockchain firms to block these funds before they disappear. This is definitely going to be a race against time. Even Bybit are offering bug bounties or more or less bounties for anyone who can freeze, bring back funds, or do anything to prevent Lazarus from getting at all of these illicit hacked funds from Bybit. This is definitely something that is driving the market down at the moment, but there is so much positivity out there. We're going to deviate straight away from this because this, from my perspective, is the only thing driving the market down. We've got a few other negative things going on, but this is what we can see right now, which is $1.5 billion. It's supposed to be the largest digital heist ever. And something that's quite controversial today was actually Michael Saylor saying, sell a kidney, buy Bitcoin. And this, is really speaking mountains. It's really starting to show how committed he is and how committed MicroStrategy is to Bitcoin in itself. So let's go over, let's take a listen quickly to what Cynthia Lummis had to say.
Forward to working with you to pass bipartisan legislation on Bitcoin, on stablecoin and digital assets. We want to promote responsible innovation and protect consumers. We sure have come a long way since I first arrived in the Senate. Many members of the Senate were still trying to wrap their heads around what is a Bitcoin, what is a digital asset, what is a stable coin, what is a Howey test. And so now we've arrived at the point where we can move forward. We're on the precipice of finally creating a bipartisan legislative framework for both stablecoins and market structure. I hope we can get both pieces of legislation to President Trump for his signature this year, including the Lummis-Gillibrand Responsible Financial Innovation Act, which is the more market structure-oriented bill that would sort of dovetail with what the House passed last year, which was FIT 21. And then we're going to start with stable coins. And on stable coins, I'm optimistic the Senate Banking Committee will soon mark up Senator Haggerty's legislation It is called the Genius Act. Chairman Scott and Senators Gillibrand and I are all co-sponsors.
Now, this is why I really do believe we're seeing a knee-jerk reaction in the market, you guys. We're walking into unprecedented times where broader adoption is now here. Regulation is coming thick and fast, as I've always said, and the United States are moving extremely fast to get regulations in place. The Genius Act is going to send the market crazy in 2025. The restricted issuance is definitely pro bono. Only permitted payment stablecoin issuers, banks, federal non-banks, and state qualified issuers under federal standards will be able to legally issue payment stablecoins. If you position yourself back in May 2022, you might have been subject to the UST crash. This was an algorithmically backed stablecoin that worked on a mint to burn mechanism and then also worked in tandem with a market module. We're simply not going to see something like this come about ever again, and the definition of a payment stablecoin inside the Genius Act states it must be fully backed one-to-one by US dollars or approved high-quality liquid assets like treasury bills. We've got those regulatory requirements where issuers have to comply with federal standards now, including fully backed reserves, segregations of funds, monthly certifications, capital liquidity requirements. The state regulation option is a little bit strange because issuers under $10 billion in market cap can opt in for state regulation if it meets federal standards, but those actually exceeding $10 billion must transition to federal oversight. So that's something I definitely think they're going to need to work out in the future. And from my perspective, these would be the beginning, right? The first regulations that are falling in place. They're probably going to be changed over time, but for now, they're looking very, very positive. The Federal Enforcement Authority is where the federal banking agencies, the Federal Reserve, OCC, FDIC, have enforcement power similar to that under the FDIC Act, including penalties and license revocation, which means if a CEX, right, is starting to mess around, you can't withdraw your assets, well, they're going to be able to hold them accountable. We're going to be able to hold them liable. The clarifications on security laws is probably the most bullish thing inside this for face value. Payment stablecoins are explicitly not classified as securities, and regulatory agencies cannot treat custodial assets as liabilities. So again, it brings in this sense of broader adoption, and although some people aren't happy about that, we might see it chopped and changed in the future. From my perspective, this isn't something that it's in place. They're going to need President Trump to now approve this, and they're actually hoping to do this within the first 100 days of his presidency. And as they mentioned, there are other laws that are going to be falling into place. They're going to be catching up on these regulatory standards. This is a very, very bullish moment for the entire crypto sector because, again, they're bringing in regulation, they're removing the confusion, and this is going to allow retail to get involved, financial institutional wealth to get involved, banks to get involved, to actually see crypto broadly adopted. These are all of the things that we've all wanted for a considerable amount of time, but it doesn't stop there, guys, because the SEC is actually saying at the moment, most meme coins do not qualify as securities. This isn't 100% true. If you go and you dive into it, this actually derives from a staff statement put out by the SEC, and I can actually get this staff statement up. It was put out on the 27th of February, as you can see here. And as part of an effort to provide greater clarity on the application of federal security laws to crypto assets, the Division Corporation Finance is providing its views on meme coins. A meme coin is a type of crypto asset inspired by internet memes, characters, current events, or trends, which the promoter seeks to attract an enthusiastic online community to purchase the meme coin and engage in its trading. Although individual meme coins may have unique features, meme coins typically share certain characteristics. Meme coins typically are purchased for entertainment, social interaction, and cultural purposes, and their value is driven primarily by market demand and speculation. And in this regard, meme coins are akin to collectibles. This is a monumental step, even with it being a staff statement. Again, this doesn't lead to 100% any laws, regulations getting in place in regards to meme coins, but it's a step in the right direction. And this is clearly why the SEC are starting to drop all of their different cases that are currently floating around. Now, if we just scroll down and look at the next section that I've highlighted, they're stating a meme coin does not constitute any of the common financial instruments specifically enumerated in the definition of a security because, among other things, it does not generate a yield or convey rights to future income, profits, or assets of a business. In other words, a meme coin is not itself a security, and the aforementioned statutory sections also provide that investment contracts are securities. So what this actually tells us in short is a meme coin must remain a meme coin, and it mustn't broaden out and begin to offer rewards or generate any kind of yield or make promises of assets being provided in a business. Essentially, a meme coin would not be able to have staking. If we look at a meme coin, like I mentioned at the beginning, Ponky, they do provide staking. So therefore, under this staff statement, a meme coin that does provide staking could in itself be deemed as an investment contract, and it is a security. So although the face value of this staff statement is being put out as very positive, it's a bit of a grey zone, but I think we're going to need to go through this chopping and changing, investigating, looking deeper into things and saying, well, what's the difference between a meme coin that provides staking and doesn't provide staking? Does it fall under the WJ Howie test? And all of these different ins and outs. It's going to be very interesting to see how this all pans out in the future, but we're seeing things we've never seen before. We're seeing the SEC back down, dropping their cases against Coinbase, OpenSea, and all of these other platforms. And I think we're in unprecedented times. And what we're seeing is a huge knee-jerk reaction in the market where everybody thinks the bull cycle is now over, the halving event is over, we've seen the big run, and it's back to normal terms, back to how it normally is for us, where we're just riding the market, it's consistently bearish, and we get these very bullish moments. We're walking into different times, as I keep saying, and all I'm going to do, guys, is keep getting you up to date. That's all I've got today for the daily HCC dive. I hope you've enjoyed this one. I really enjoyed getting you guys up to date on it. It's really bullish. It's something to get excited about. It's different, and it feels different. But aside that, guys, stay safe, stay humble, stay aware, and as always, I'll catch you in the next one.